Welcome everyone to yet another episode of Diagnosing the Aftermarket A to Z. I'm Matt Fanslow, and Ludo's right. Psychotic, but absolutely right. We got to take these bastards. Now we could do it with conventional weapons, but that could take years and cost millions of lives. No, I think we got to go all out. I think that this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture to be done on somebody's part. And you know what? We're just the guys to do it. But first, let's get a word from our sponsor, NAPA Autotech Training. NAPA Autotech offers 3-hour virtual technical classes that can be accessed from the comfort of your home. To find out what courses are available, go to napaautotech.com and click on the NAPA Autotech class calendar link. So one of my very, very favorite people in the world, a while back, maybe even years back, was giving a piece of advice to a shop owner who is really, really struggling. And my mentor slash friend slash hero, Robert Dutch Silverstein, told the guy that as an airline pilot, as Dutch used to be, they're trained and taught, and it's drilled into them that in case of emergency, in case the plane catches fire, the first thing you do is just fly the darn plane, period. And I believe that's even an acronym. And there's another acronym they have called ANC, which is A for aviate, N to navigate, finally C, communicate. That really resonated with me when he said that. Just fly the darn plane. Fly the plane. First, get control or maintain it. Keep the train on the tracks. I got to use this finally. Like I've been keeping this, in my pocket for a while. And a colleague came to me. Their life is falling apart. Now, I'm going to level with you. They're very, very young, very early 20s. So the idea of their life falling apart and what they were telling me is just a lack of experience. I don't mean to be dismissive. I don't want to detract anything from their feelings or anything like that. And I don't even mean that to be like super PC. It's the reality, right? That's to them, the wheels are coming off. She's going down. And I almost got giddy to be able to say to them, just fly the darn aircraft. Fly the frickin' plane. And then they looked at me weird, which I gotta love with you. That happens a lot. I'm used to it. But I went to explain on what I meant by that. And, however you want the analogy to play out, your path is your life, and your plane is your vessel, and you as the pilot is your brain. Fine. Everything seems to be falling apart, right? And I don't mean like your body physically, but just life is throwing curveballs, whatever that may be. You've made mistakes that have now led to repercussions. Happens a lot. At some point, you got to stop freaking out. At some point, you have to stop the whole woe is me thing. You have to grab the freaking controls and start freaking flying the plane. And I adore that. It doesn't matter if it's your life, it's your business, your job, however, wherever you want to apply it. When things seem their worst, you still have to fly the freaking plane. And you have to start making decisions. And which I think, I'm not working hard to make this acronym with the ANC work. That's not the whole point. The real point is to fly the frickin' plane. Grab the horse by the reins, grab the car by the wheel, start making intentional adjustments and keep that thing in the air. Keep that thing going. Preferably not on a straight down nosedive crash. Whatever you got to do, start pulling up. Again, these are all analogies. I'm not trying to be cryptic in my messages, but you have to start making some good decisions. This easily applies to just life, right? Whatever that is, whatever's happening to you, your relationships are falling apart, things at work aren't going so well, just a few financial crises, which, I'm not like the biggest Dave Ramsey follower, but some of the stuff he says is good. If you're struggling financially and you feel like your income actually isn't all that bad, Dave Ramsey is a resource worth checking out, trying to get yourself on track. These are all things that life starts throwing in. And I guess why I brought up Dave Ramsey is bad stuff is going to happen. It's not if, it's when. And try to prepare yourself as best you can for the stuff you can prepare yourself for. Put yourself in the best position to weather that storm. So life is throwing you lemons. And it's not just, grab them and make lemonade. No. You got to take what's getting tossed at you. At some point, you have to wonder, why are they getting tossed at me? And back to the honesty thing. Do I got it coming? Did I do this to myself? Maybe you even did unwittingly. You can't really sit there and be overly critical of yourself. You did make an honest mistake, and the result is curveballs and lemons and whatever being tossed at you. But you got to grab the wheel. You have to start grabbing the controls and pulling up. And now just take a breath and start plotting the course. What do I need to do? So again, a reference. There's a movie called Sully. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you know what the story's based off of, but it's, a few years ago, an airliner took off from New York, I think LaGuardia, and not long after takeoff, they plowed through some birds. And it must have been an exorbitant amount or just a freak failure, but they lost both engines. Again, that is not common. But they have protocols, which is the first thing was fly the frickin' plane. Or in their case, glide. But that's what they're doing. And then there's a book that they flip through to try to reignite, go through that process. That wasn't going to happen. And then getting information, sending information and communicating to the tower, what happened, what's going on, and just taking in all that information. They have to make a decision. Can they turn around and make it back to the airport and land? Can we do that? Let me gather some information. No. Altitude, speed, ain't happening. Okay. I think they had an alternative airport to try to get to. That wasn't going to happen. It became readily apparent they were going to have to land this in the Hudson. And the pilot, I think it's Mr. Sully, turns to his co-pilot. It's like, can you think of anything else? And he couldn't. And they ended up landing in the Hudson. And either due to experience, skill, luck, all of it, they landed in the Hudson and no one gets hurt. Airliners, when they don't break apart, can float for quite some time. It's kind of ultimately a happy ending, happy story. Well, in your life, the same thing can happen. Just bombs. You're just getting hit with bombs. What do I need to do? Can I make it back to the airport? These are the things I need to do. I need to be there for my family. I need to keep my job. I need to go get help. I need whatever that is. I need to reach out to this person. I need to be there for this person. Now, information gathering. And maybe there's not a ton to gather. Maybe there is. Open book scenarios. Gather the information. What do I need to do to accomplish it? And then start making the course corrections. So, twisting this a little bit, not talking to this colleague anymore after I've told them to start flying the frickin' plane, and them understanding what I'm saying and really kind of being able to step back and go, yeah, you're right. And they didn't really say that. It just, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I know what I got to do. And different conversation with a coworker, and kind of like doing a review, if you will. They've been with us for a few months and trying to get an assessment. Like, what is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? Both in the shop and outside of the shop. But let's focus on in the shop. Okay, in 5 years, I want to be what we would say like a mechanical specialist, or more of a, I think using more old school terminology, maybe like a high C, low B tech, but working on becoming more and more that mechanical specialist. That's what I want to do. What are you doing to get there? Well, I'm coming to work every day. That's a start. Like, I don't want to be just totally dismissive, but is that enough? Just showing up to work, putting in your 8 hours a day. Is that enough to get where you want to go? And there's some of you out there, that was more than enough. You could do that, no problem. A lot of us, that was not the case. My perspective to be a technical specialist, diagnostician, getting involved with technology, that was way more than 8 hours a day. At work and not at work, at home. So it was not an 8 to 5 thing. Many, many, many hours. And much smarter people would not have needed that much time. But it's being aware. What do I need to do to get where I want to go? And finding, for me, it was mentors. There was people I wanted to be like, or more like. I wanted to be more like Jim Wilson. I wanted to be more like Randy Burnclaw. I wanted to be more like Harvey Chan. I wanted to be more like Matt Ragsdale, and many, many more. That was the level I was shooting for. I wanted to be more like John Thornton. I wanted to be more like Scott Mann. I wanted to be more like John Riggle. I wanted to be more like Cassie Beach. I wanted to be able to think on those levels. Not saying I never reached it. I don't know. I don't think I have. But those were the sights I set. Those were the goals I set. That's where I wanted to be. Honestly, even if I didn't hit it, I don't think I get to where I am without that drive to want to be like that. So that was the course. The course I set required that of me. I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't going to be able to do it just 8 to 5 at work, or longer, 8 to 8 when you're young, before you have kids. 12 hours a day is nothing. You probably even enjoy it. I did. Then I needed more. I needed other input. I needed this, just sitting online with these guys back in IETN's heyday and just seeing how far I had to go. Like, coming in thinking like I was pretty good and finding out I was not. So not. And swallowing that pill and then setting up the course. And sure, going with the analogy of your plane falling apart doesn't really fit, but definitely navigating, like, this is the course I got to take. I got to be honest with myself to get where I want to go. I think this is the course, and putting myself on that course and following through, and then course correcting as I needed. Maybe I picked up some stuff pretty quickly. Other stuff, maybe not so much. And the other thing really is I'm being lucky I had those resources, but also being lucky that I had whatever it is, the skills, maybe a background growing up, where I grew up, how I grew up, having some of those tools, mental faculties and whatnot that was going to allow me to be successful in an area I wanted to be successful in. And it's really kind of a crappy thing to be sitting here saying, when I think nowadays their heads are filled with, you can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. If you work hard enough, you can be whatever it is. For 98 years, the NAPA name has meant quality parts and service. It also reflects top quality training programs to help you build a more successful vehicle repair business. No doubt, the technician shortage is impacting everyone, but you're not facing this battle alone. NAPA has the solution by making NAPA Autotech training available near you. NAPA Autotech provides automotive aftermarket technicians career development opportunities through structured, disciplined, measured, and high-quality technical instruction, no matter the technician or service advisor's skill level. This instruction enhances understanding of vehicle systems, increases first-time repair capability, and overall customer satisfaction. It also prepares technicians to become ASE certified. It's a fact technicians who receive training to improve their knowledge and skills have a higher sense of job satisfaction. This reduces technician turnover and increases productivity, directly improving a shop's profitability. It is vital to the success of a shop's business that today's technicians are equipped to diagnose and repair today's complex vehicles. With our ever-changing technology, the technician's knowledge and skills need to be updated and refreshed on a regular basis. As you labor over the decision of whether to send your techs to get their skills sharpened, keep in mind, NAPA Autotech training is an investment, not an expense, and it's available to all. Much of NAPA Autotech's training is offered in more than one format to accommodate varieties of learning styles and training preferences so each person can maximize their learning. Whether you're more of a hands-on person or enjoy learning at your own pace, NAPA Autotech is here to provide you with the training you need in the format that works best for you. To learn more about what NAPA Autotech offers, contact napaautotech.com. You can be whatever you want. If you work hard enough, you can be whatever it is. It's not true. It's never been true. I could work my butt off to be a poker player. I'm probably never going to be good enough to be a pro. I am never going to be good enough to get anywhere in the World Series of Poker. I could study my tail off. I will probably never break. Wow, I don't know if I would break 1400 as a chess player. I don't think I could get my rating that high. I just don't think I'm that good. I'm ecstatic to be between 1,000 and 1,100, and I don't study as hard as I used to, but I love the game. I don't think I see the game, nor have the patience that some people with really deep, of course, there's so many tiers to it, right? International master, grandmaster, so many tiers to chess playing, and so many other things, or when I was young, I loved basketball. I loved watching it. I loved playing it. Maybe if I could have checked my ego a little bit better and worked smarter, I maybe could have been on varsity, maybe been a contributor. I don't think I would have been all conference. I don't think I'd have been all state. I don't think I would have gone to school on a scholarship. And as hard as I would have worked, I don't think I would have. I don't think that was the case. It wasn't going to happen. When you start thinking about just how good a pretty decent high school player going up against a Division III or Division II basketball player, they usually get mopped. And then you have a Division II player go up against Division I, and it's like a major change. And then you go to the pros where everybody was all conference. Everyone was all state. Everyone was Mr. Basketball. At some point, you have to be honest with yourself. And it doesn't mean it isn't worth studying what you're passionate about. I am passionate about physics. I'm passionate about particle physics, quantum mechanics, quantum field theory, special relativity, like M theory. I love trying to see the world in that way. I don't think it would have mattered how hard I studied. I was never ever going to be working at the Large Hadron Collider. I was never going to be at Fermilab. I just don't see that. And maybe I'm selling myself short. I don't know, but I just don't see it. We have to be honest with ourselves. And part of navigating, part of flying that plane, especially when we're talking about our careers, is finding out what you're really good at. And if you're really, really good at taking stuff apart and putting it back together, shops need those guys. We need those people. they make shops a lot of money, and they themselves, the techs, do or should be making a great deal of money because of it. Now, the technical specialists, I think it gets a little more quote unquote glory. I don't know if that's necessarily deserved. They're the cool kids. A lot of times they're not the ones bringing in the big bucks for the shop. Some of them get paid big bucks, but they do definitely help immensely with reputation. Of course, they're making the shop money, of course. And you need everybody, right? This is a machine. You need all the parts. They work together. So part of your navigating, part of you flying your plane is assessing, what am I good at? And am I passionate about this? And definitely spend time on what you're passionate about. And if you show that you're getting pretty good at it, or just, you don't have to be the best, but you definitely can be competent in whatever level of repairs that is. Speaking a little more on the diagnostics end, that there's definitely levels of diagnostics. You're good. You're fine. Drivability, maybe drivability got down on certain levels of electrical issues, stuff like that. Yeah, pretty good. Get into some network stuff, maybe start getting weak. Maybe not the guy for network diag. Can work on it. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But you're doing all the other stuff you're really, really good at. And you master that. And none of this I'm saying, I didn't come up with this on my own. Of course, I'm quoting Dutch with the fly the darn plane or fly the darn aircraft. But also this idea of figuring out what you're really good at and mastering it, especially in this field. That's not mine. I'm totally stealing this from a gentleman named Scott Galloway. And I would heavily recommend looking into him. But he's right. So many young people, I think just the generation just after mine, or, younger. Like I would name my brother, who's 7 years younger than me. Almost their entire school career has been, you can be whatever you want. You can grow up to be anything. And I think it's miscommunicated. Like it's misunderstood. And maybe even the people that say it don't understand what they're saying. That they are trying to imply you can go be whatever you want. Rich Falco, you want to grow up to be a rapper? You can do it. Probably not. But, the next big time rapper can come from anywhere. If you watch Disney movies, that's a very Ratatouille thing, right? So if you haven't seen that, grab the kids, grab the grandkids, watch, pay attention. I think Mr. Rogers once had to try to clear that up, where he was in an interview and he preaches, and no pun intended. We know he was a pastor. I didn't mean that to be punny, but he was very consistent with children specifically that you are valuable. You have a terrific amount of value. And this interview, he was the interviewee. The interviewer was trying to take that and twist it into these people have value, therefore, they should be making way more money. And he's like, you can't confuse your value as a human being with your value as an employee. And I don't mean that to just devalue everyone. That should be, like we talking, working towards mastery, getting very good at what we're doing, that we become extremely valuable. We put pressure on management, ownership to have to keep us because shops are dying for competent techs, competent mechanical specialists, competent technical specialists. They're crying for them. They need them. You're in demand. That drives value up. So you just have to level with yourself. What are my skills? What are my innate abilities going to allow me to do at a high level? And then can I grow them, expand them, move into a new area or a different area, and maybe one I'm more passionate about. And that's, again, why are we all so passionate about diagnostics? Like, why can't we be passionate about repair? Like taking it apart, putting it back together, fixing stuff. That's something many are passionate about. There shouldn't be this just odd pressure to move into the technical. But if you are, by all means, there's so many resources out there to try to evolve into it. And if your skills and innate talents and abilities allow you to excel in that, well, great. But if they don't take it hard. Stick with what you're really, really good at and become a master at it. And you will be extremely valuable. So yeah, this is really about, yes, if things seem rough, you have to fly the frickin' plane. You have to fly the aircraft. Then when you've got a hold of the controls, start looking to where you're going. Where do you want to go? Where are you heading right now, and where do you want to go? And do you have the ability? Do you have whatever it is to make it? And if you're flying a 747 and you want to get to the moon, it ain't going to happen. But getting up to 40,000 feet, that ain't so bad either. Enjoy the ride. If you're aiming for the Caribbean and you've got her, assuming you're in the US like most of us, and the plane's flying north, got to grab the controls. Got to start steering that thing around. You may not be able to just jerk the wheel and whip a 180. It might be a big, slow turn. But it's one you got to do if you want to get to where you want to go. So just fly the darn aircraft. Period. Hope you got a kick out of this. Hope you enjoyed this take and see where I was heading with it. If you have ideas for topics for future episodes, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at mattfanslowpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest, again, send another email. I would just like to take a moment to thank you all for listening. Thank you for all the notes and just always checking up on me and the family. I would just say Danielle's doing great. High 90% back to normal. And Dad, it's amazing watching a walking, talking miracle. That's all there is to it. Tough to wrap my head around. But I do appreciate those emails and messages and whatnot, checking up on everybody. And I would just like to thank the Aftermarket Radio Network and NAPA Autotech Training for sponsoring. And until next time, take care.
You've been listening to Matt Fanslow, diagnosing the aftermarket A to Z on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Matt on your favorite listening app. He's very interested in what you have to say. Let him know what you'd like him to cover and come on the show. Matt is all for advancing the aftermarket. Find Matt Fanslow on social media and connect or on aftermarketradionetwork.com.